You're listening to English Podcast with Fi.
Hello and welcome to English Podcast with Fi. I'm Fi and today's podcast we're talking about homophones. I think you must be familiar with this word, right? Or at least you must have heard of it. So, in today's podcast, we are going to learn about homophones and examples of words and of course, the example of sentences. First of all, have you ever heard the exact same words when someone said them? Try to remember it. Do you already remember it? Okay, now let's listen to this recording between Noah and Nick and pay attention to the words that have the same pronunciation.
Hi Nick, what did you eat last night? Oh, hi Noah. I ate 8 sandwiches last night. My mom made it for me. Oh, that's nice. By the way, how about our homework yesterday? Oh, I already finished it last night too. I spent 1 hour to do the homework. Wow, how can you find the answer of that difficult task? Did you know the right book that Miss Renan gave to us last year? Yeah, I found the answers after I read that book. Good job, Nick. Yeah, thanks to that book.
So, what about after listening to the recording? Do you find the pronunciation of the same words? And I guess the answer is yes, right? Okay, let's match your hearing with this. Noah said, I ate 8 sandwiches last night. We have 8 and 8. The words have the same sounds but actually have different spelling and different meaning. The first 8 is spelled A-T-E, which is as in the past form of it. That we already know it means what we do when we're hungry by eating something to eat. Beside, the second 8 is spelled E-I-G-H-T, which is mean about a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what we usually call homophones. So, homophones are words that sound the same but have different spellings and different meanings. Now, homophones can be difficult to learn, and the reason is because they sound exactly the same. For the example, 8 and 8 before. And let's go to the next word. As what we heard before, Nick said, how about our homework yesterday? And Noah said, I already finished it last night too. I spent 1 hour to do that homework. To be honest, there are 4 words that are homophones in the sentences. Do you find all of them? Okay, first is the word hour that's spelled O-U-R and the word hour that's spelled H-O-U-R. The second is the word to that's spelled T-O and the word to that's spelled T-O-O. They have the exact same sound but different spelling and meaning. Okay, and the last homophones from the recording are red and red. The first red is spelled R-E-D, which is mean a color, and the second red is spelled R-E-A-D, as in the past form of read. So, what do you think when you hear this sentence? I read books. That means you read many books that have red colors. I know it's so difficult to find the differences if we don't know the spelling of the word, so we must be careful for it. Okay, now I will give you some examples of another homophones words. So, please listen it carefully. First, male and male. Male that's spelled M-A-I-L and male that's spelled M-A-L-E. For example, I mail an email to my male friend. And next, C and C. The first C is spelled S-E-E and the second C is spelled S-E-A. For example, let's go to see the C. And the last, maid and maid. The first maid is spelled M-A-I-D and the second maid is spelled M-A-D-E. For example, my maid made a cake for me. So I think that's enough for today's podcast, and you can find many more homophones in the internet if you want to know more about it. But before we go, here's today's top tip for learning homophones. Homophones are difficult to spell correctly when you hear them because they sound the same. So, if you think a word might be a homophone, read or listen to the words around it very carefully. That will help you get a better idea what word it is and how to spell it. And we've seen the end of this podcast. Hope it's useful for you guys, and if you have any questions regarding this material, you can contact me on my email at fzh1903@gmail.com and I will answer as best as I can. Also, you can enrich what material you want me to bring for the next podcast in the future. You can also download this podcast and listening my podcast in my YouTube channel at English Podcast with Fi. If you have any requests or questions, please email me at fzh1903@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to English Podcast with Fi. Don't forget to listen to my next podcast, which will definitely be more interesting than this. Have a nice day, dear. Goodbye.